Sometimes with while loops, you don't want to check the condition right away. Otherwise, that loop may never run. Sometimes you want to run it first and then check, right, whether or not you want to repeat. There's a useful variation to the while loop that does that called the do while loop. So it's always going to run at least once. And the reason is because the condition is checked after the code runs. And check out the syntax. We do the while condition at the end of the braces, and we throw a little do keyword at the front of the braces. So this is the structure of the do while loop. So it's useful alternative to the while loop since it will always run first, then check the condition. Notice the syntax. So our other loops, right? For loop does have semicolons inside the parentheses. While loop has no semicolons. You know, it does, if you're making statements inside the block, of course, but the actual while condition, right? No semicolon. And here in do while, we do have a semicolon here in the while condition at the end, right? So keep that in mind. It's a mistake you might do a few times. You might commit a few times. That's fine, right? It's different. So definitely just keep an eye out for that semicolon. All right, so let's take a look at an example where it might make sense to run the code first and then check the condition. So here we have our command initialize to quit. So based on this condition, right, it says um, this is going to run as long as command does not equal to quit. Well, if I had a regular old while loop, I threw that condition here, threw the condition there, this would never run because command started off as quit. So this loop would never run in this case. Now I know we probably wouldn't initialize command to run to be quit right at the start, but just for the sake of the example, right, for sake of simplicity, let's say we had to, right, it has to start off as quit. Well, if we threw this condition at the front of the loop as a regular while loop, this would never run, never loop. But with the do while has the advantage of, we're going to get our welcome to the game, that's outside the loop. The do is going to say, hey, run this at least once. So we're going to at least ask the user one time, do you want to quit the program, right? Of course, it was a real game. We're going to have way more logic in here, right? You could pretend there's like some more complicated game logic there. But once you play the game right, you're going to ask the user, do you want to quit? And then you're going to use next line to collect their keyboard input. And of course, command to store the value. And then you check. So by checking afterwards, we're making sure that this loop runs at least once, even if it starts off as quit. That's not going to stop it from running that one time. One of the advantages of the while loop. So this game program will always run once because it's in a do while loop. The game will continue to run after the first loop as long as the condition is true. So yeah, if they put in, continue, if they typed in continue, then we're going to get another loop because continue is not the same as quit. Or if they typed in, I don't know, new game, right? That'll also satisfy the condition. So it'll run again. Anything that they type in, as long as it's not quit, will satisfy the condition because anything that's not quit will be not equals to quit. So that's what we're looking for, right? To continue the loop. But remember, do while it's going to run at least once. So the condition is based off the user's input, so we'll continue until the user types in quit. That's when it stops. So yeah, this could potentially just run the one time if immediately they type in quit after the do runs. If they don't type in quit, then of course it's going to run at least a few more times. At least one more time.